Hey there, this is Tom Morello, and you're listening to 89 FM, the Radio Rock. Crank it.
So, Tony, I'm about to perform here in Brazil at Best in Blues and Rock, and I know it's going to be awesome. So, what can we expect from it, and also what are your expectations from the show?
Well, I had the good fortune of playing this show once before, and the audience was amazing. Some of my favorite shows I've ever played have been in Brazil, and so it's always like an honor and a pleasure to come back and rock with some of the greatest fans in the world. For this show, it's really going to be... I've made 22 albums over the course of my career, from Rage Against the Machine to Audioslave to playing with Bruce Springsteen to making acoustic records to making solo rock records with big riffs and big solos, and I'm going to play all of it. It's really been a lot of fun assembling this set list to sort of honor every part of it. Rage Against the Machine hasn't been to Brazil enough in the years, and so I will be representing with some big Rage Against the Machine riffs. Audioslave, I'm not even sure if Audioslave ever played in Brazil, so that will be represented as well. There's going to be tons of guitar solos and big guitar riffs, and I'm really having a ball going through my entire catalog of songs to tailor a set list that will really be like a thank you to the fans in Brazil.
Oh my God, I can't wait. It's going to be awesome. I wish it was tomorrow already. Another awesome thing that I must mention is that recently Rage Against the Machine was welcomed to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And how are you feeling about receiving this big honor?
Yeah, it's great. And we were nominated 5 times. And so I was pleased that we finally got in on the 5th one. I like the idea that there's a place like the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame that pays attention to the accomplishments in multiple genres for things artists have done. Over the course of the last few years, I think the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame has become more democratic. Hard rock artists, which were normally kind of marginalized, from Rush to Kiss to Judas Priest to even Stevie Ray Vaughan, which had trouble getting in, now are welcomed in. So I think it's a nice home for Rage Against the Machine to be joining some of my favorite bands, Black Sabbath, AC/DC, Public Enemy, The Clash. That's pretty good company to be in.
That's awesome. You guys are icons. And you mentioned before that Rage Against music is kind of more like relevant nowadays than in the 90s. And I couldn't agree more. I think your songs are really timeless. And I want to know, what are your thoughts about being still being a big influential and a big reference to this new generation?
Yeah, well, I mean, I never would have imagined it, first of all, that songs that we wrote 30 years ago would be relevant in street protests in Brazil, in Chile, in Chicago, in 2023. But I think it speaks to, the great chemistry of that band, and the idea that you don't need to divorce your ideas from your craft. And if you have ideas about how the world is unjust and ideas about how maybe it can be made better, whether you're a musician or a radio disc, who you are in what you do.
You say it. And this kind of leads to my next question, which is something that was an instant hit here on the radio station, which is a recent collab with Måneskin with the song Gossip. And they're super talented. They're super vocal about important issues, and we love them. How does this collaboration happen, and how was working with them?
Yeah, well, it's first of all, I think it's amazing that one of the biggest rock bands in the world are from Italy. It's never happened before, and it's pretty incredible. But I ran into them at a show at the Roxy here in Los Angeles. I went down to soundcheck because a friend of mine who's a young person, was a big fan and wanted to say hi. And then we met, and I just loved them. I thought they were great. I didn't know anything about them, but they're like a real band. They were busking on the streets of Rome at 15 years old. Several of them have known each other since they were 12. Like, they're not like some assembled band for pop stardom. They really care deeply about rocking, and so while they were making their record in Los Angeles, I stopped by a few times and we worked on some songs. We became friends and came up with that song Gossip. And so I have a feeling that one might be played at the show as well, if you're not careful.
Oh my God. People are going to go wild about it. Lastly, I want to know, what are the next steps for you?
Next step, well, it's an exciting summer. I'm touring South America and Europe. In Europe, I'm opening up some shows for Guns N' Roses and some shows for The Who. So that'll be a blast. And then working on new music as well. I've been really, after the Rage United States tour ended in last summer, I was really sort of fired up and had a lot of riffs in me. And so I've been working on a new solo record of a pretty big rock record coming up next.
Great. Thank you so much, Tom, for your time. I can't wait to see you. I hope you come to Brazil more times, because you're kind of like a sweetheart to us. We have a special place for you in your heart. So I can't wait to see you perform.
89, a Rádio Rock.